I know he feels it, that guy, because his family made a personal sacrifice. And he is a marvelous man. This next fella acts, sings, dances, does impressions, plays the drums. A fella that we really love, a fella we voted in as the Outstanding Entertainer of the Year last year. I hate to choke like that with that. Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite show-off, Sammy Davis Jr., right here.
I would just like to say that it is the greatest, really the greatest thrill of my life. This is something very special for me tonight. Mr. President, Mrs. Nixon, Mr. Vice President, Mrs. Agnew, and all distinguished guests. I would just like to say that for the past 5 years, I've been going peace and love and togetherness. Tonight, I know why I said peace and love and togetherness. So that's where it's... Now, let me tell you something. Now, while you cats were like taking a sabbatical, there was a lot of things going on. For instance, no one's made mention of this, but while Frank Sinatra was making hit after hit after hit, I was biting my nails. But in the meantime, I came up with one hit last year, and I just felt that perhaps maybe I should lay it on you, you know. Oh, there was another incident that happened last year, also in Miami, when I hugged somebody, but I won't go into that at this point. Look out, chain.
Let me step back even further. Can you tell me, put yourself back to the first atomic bomb test? What was that like for you?
We found that the fission bomb was not so easy to make. It had to be tested. A test was scheduled in southern New Mexico at a site named Trinity. I was there, not with the main group that conducted the test, with another smaller group 10 or 20 miles away from the explosion. We were told to lie down with our backs to the bomb. I did lie down. I looked straight at it. But the test was called off, then it was put back on again. It was to take place before 6 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark, daylight saving. I was there looking straight at it. There was a countdown. 2 minutes, 1 minute 55 seconds, 1 minute 50 seconds. 30 seconds before the shot, the countdown stopped. Nothing happened. It must have been postponed again. It was an infinite wait. It was only 30 seconds. Then it went. And what I saw was disappointing. Just a little light on the horizon, which slightly grew. And then I remembered. I followed the prescriptions. I put dark glasses, a welding glass, before my eyes. And I had on top of that natural black glasses on. Through all that, I still saw it. So I tried to look out, aside from that protection, down the sand. And that was suddenly, as though in a complete dark room, the curtains would have been raised. Light was streaming in. That was perhaps not quite a minute after the explosion. Then I was impressed. It became brighter and brighter and rose. And I knew, that soon it will be used over Japan, and then it will not be just an experiment.
Wow. Okay. So tell me how Einstein got involved with the atomic bomb.
Einstein had worked in Germany and then left Germany when Hitler approached power. At least two of my good Hungarian friends, Leo Szilard and Eugene Wigner, knew Einstein quite well from German days. And when they saw the possibility, particularly Szilard, they went to Einstein with the hope that Einstein would write a letter to the president. That letter the president would read. If one of us wrote to him, he probably never see it. Well, the answer was, Szilard actually wrote a letter. Einstein was on summer vacation at the north end of Long Island, and Szilard, a very ingenious man, knew everything in the world, except he did not know how to drive a car. He was also exceptional in believing that I was a good driver. So he asked me to drive him to Einstein. Einstein was a democratic person who invited Szilard, his old friend, to have tea with him, and was liberal enough to invite his chauffeur too. So that was how I was there. When Einstein read what Szilard has written, asked a few questions about it, and then said yes, yes, and signed it. Handed it back to Szilard, and Szilard then, through a friend, tried to send it to Roosevelt. I know the date. Einstein signed the letter, I think, on the 2nd of August, 1939, a few days before Hitler invaded Poland. The letter got to a banker, and from him to the president, and Hiro got the letter a couple of months later, more than that, sometime in October, after the Soviets had joined the Nazis in partitioning Poland, and after the danger of Hitler had become very obvious.
Very nice answer.
The old C-47, known to pilots the world over as the cargo and troop-carrying Goonie bird, has been one of our most effective weapons in Vietnam. Equipped with 3 6-barreled Gatling guns, each capable of firing up to 6,000 rounds per minute, One of these so-called dragon ships can inflict heavy damage on an attacking enemy ground force. A small group of Air Force pilots is fighting a special kind of warfare. Their only weapons being leaflets and voice broadcasts, urging the Viet Cong and their sympathizers to defect to the government side. Some warn civilians to leave a military target area scheduled for attack. The value of these psychological warfare missions can be judged by the hot ground fire that greets the unarmed.
Hello again, fellows. Your letters have been pouring in, and they're swell. Keep them coming, and we'll try to answer all we can. The next request we've chosen comes from PFC Miner Haynes, who tells us he's been stationed up in the Aleutians since they were discovered. He's got a big homesickness for the sight of some American kids, and he's asked Screen Magazine to show him some stuff about kids during wartime. Well, here they are.
Okay, Private Haynes, so it's kids. Well, here's what a lot of American kids are doing these days. They're playing their own little part in the war. And maybe it isn't so little. War bonds, conservation, victory gardens, salvage and scrap. It all adds up. Boy Scouts, campfire girls, big kids, little kids. The kids have put themselves right into this war. Certain grown-ups we know could take a few lessons from them. The kids, Private Haynes, are on the ball. They're thinking, too. Thinking about the war and about the peace to come. Here's a forum for kids, sponsored by the New York Times.
How many of you have relatives in the service? Oh, practically all of you. Well, you know that this picture will be shown to the boys all over the globe. Tell me, boys and girls, what do you think is democracy? Marianne.
Well, I think democracy is something deeper than just the four freedoms or a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I think democracy is a state where all men can live together with equality and in harmony.
You've done pretty well. How about you, Helen? You want to say something?
Well, I think a democracy is a government which offers all of its people equal opportunities, such as earning a living as they want to, and doing as they please as long as it's civilized. It's going to take a long time for these people to learn these things, but they're waking up and finding them out now. But you have to learn about the next fellow and let him find out about you and see what the difference is between you and try to fix them up.
Sounds pretty serious, doesn't it? But don't worry, kids are still kids. They play, too. What do they play? Cops and robbers. Oh, no, that's sissy stuff. This is some distant atoll in the Pacific, or in Italy or France. Except it's really a backyard in Baldwin, Long Island. We're about to witness a major engagement. Strategy and tactics. D-Day. The invasion is on. Well, Private Haynes, you've seen a few of America's kids. To them, even the war can be a game, which is lucky for them. May they never have to know what it's really like.
We've received so many requests from everywhere to hear a song from Miss Virginia O'Brien that, well, we'll just turn the introductions over to her. Okay, Virginia, take it away.
I want to send greetings to Larrick, Villanova, Bishop, and Knight, the Four Stoops at 650, the CB Gang at 528, Snooty Snodgrass and his Pick and Shovel Gang, Rupert and the Jive Hive, the Navy 3950 Gang, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Privates on Any Way Talk, also Mother Cantor's Diety Wash on a certain lovely atoll, and Frank McCoffey's relatives, friends, and associates at APO 93. Fellas, here's one of my most cheerful songs, I can hardly keep from smiling myself. Carry me back to Old Virginny. Carry me back to Old Virginny. That's where the cotton and the corn and taters grow. No place on earth do I love more sincerely than Old Virginny, the state where I was born. Carry me back to old Virginny. That's my home. That's where the cotton and the corn and taters grow, mostly corn. There's where the birds warble sweet in the springtime. There's where this old lonely heart'em long to go. There's where I labored so hard for old Mazza. Day after day after day in the fields of yellow corn, more corn. No place on earth do I love more sincerely than Old Virginny. Not Kentucky, than Old Virginny. Virginny, that's the state where I was born. See?
Keep the letters coming, and we'll try to keep answering them. Just write to Army Navy Screen Magazine, New York City, New York.
For night operations, the FAC can call in a flare ship. $750,000 candle power flares deprive the enemy of the cover of darkness and light the way for the fighter bombers. The efficiency of night operations is being improved by combining both flare and control functions in a C-130 aircraft.
Blind Bat 1, 5-1 is presently in the area. We are base +7. Our armament is CBU and napalm with some 20 Mike. Do you have anything for us out there?
Roger, Nimrod. Stand by 1. I think we got a suspected truck park and storage area down here. We want to have you take a look at.
Yeah, we got a couple of lights down here. Right around the left here. Go take a look.
Okay, Nimrod. We're going to pull around here and kick out a few flares for you, and then you can go down and take a look and see what's happening.
Roger.
Okay, load master, load up 4 in the rear, will you?
Roger, sir. Loading 4.
Okay, Nimrod, we're kicking them out now.
I've got your flares in sight now, Blind Bat. I'm going to start down.
Roger, and you should be able to see the buildings and stuff like that just as the forward makes the bend in the river there, looks like.
We're picking up some ground fire down there, it looks like. I'm going to have to change my running heading. I'll still turn left here and keep clear of you.
Bullseye. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good